Welcome to our presentation on healing plants. Here's a quote that sums up our relationship with plants. Around 2000 BC, plants were what we had to cure disease. So when someone was sick, we usually said, "Here, eat this root." Later, that root is heathen. Here, say this prayer. Later still, that prayer became superstitious. Here, drink this potion. That potion is snake oil. Here, take this pill. And that pill is ineffective. Here, take this antibiotic. And today, that antibiotic doesn't seem to work. So here, why don't you take this root? Our last lesson focused on food. And this is the most important first step. We talked about eating richly colored fruits and vegetables, eating the rainbow, focusing on healthy fats like omega-3s, treasuring tiny seeds and nuts, and seeking out lean proteins throughout the day, drinking water all the time, and shopping locally, and eating within the seasons. Now, you don't have to be perfect, but every day try to commit to building a strong foundation in your body with the food that you eat. Many times, these softer remedies that we're going to talk about, which fall under the guise of alternative or holistic, they don't work because our nutritional deficiencies are just too great. It's like buying a great seat warmer for your car or a pair of new sunglasses that are meant to enhance your driving experience, but you fail to fill up on gas. If you need to review the last session on food and nutrition, you can visit the website. Plants are powerhouses of healing potential because of their ability to create complexes of antioxidants and other phytochemicals. They produce these chemicals in response to stress. The most powerful plants are found in the rainforest because these plants have adapted to the most powerful oxidating force on the planet, the sun. This is a picture of Rhodiola rosea, and it will be one of the plants that we will focus on. It grows in the Siberian mountains where the climate varies dramatically, but basically consists of short summers and long and extremely cold winters. So this plant clearly must make adaptations for itself in order to survive. So when our bodies come in contact with these powerful plants, we learn to adapt and to protect ourselves from similar kinds of stress. We can elicit certain desired outcomes by allowing our body to interact with plant-based therapies. This is accomplished by ingesting an herbal medicine, such as in the practice of phytotherapy, inhaling an essential oil, such as in the practice of aromatherapy, and by drinking a botanical infusion or tea. Other plant-based therapies include flower remedies and homeopathy, which we will cover only briefly in this presentation. Herbs have three common actions, but they're not limited to these three. The first is a tonic, which has an action to nourish or to help tissues and organ systems remain in balance. An example is hawthorn that is often used for the heart. They can be adaptogens, and their action is helping regain normal functioning in the presence of stress. An example of this would be Siberian ginseng. They can also be immune stimulating. Here they stimulate the immune system to recognize and mount a fight against an illness or an invader, such as the herb echinacea. Botanicals are sold in many forms. They could be fresh, such as those grown in your garden, the things that you eat and put in your food. Dried, they can be liquids, such as tinctures, extracts, and decoctions. They can be solids, like tablets, or powders inside capsules, and also within tea bags. A tea also known as an infusion, is made by adding boiling water to fresh or dried botanicals and steeping them. The tea can be drunk either hot or cold. Some roots, bark, and berries require a more forceful treatment to extract their desired ingredients, and they are simmered in boiling water for longer periods than teas and make a decoction, which can also be drunk hot or cold. A tincture are alcohol and water extracts of plant material. The plant's active ingredients is extracted by soaking it in a solution of either alcohol or water. And these tinctures are sold as liquids and are used for concentrating or preserving the botanical. Now an extract, they're tinctures that have been further concentrated. The process is similar to creating a tincture, however, only certain types of chemicals are removed. The liquid can be used as is or even evaporated to make a dried extract for the use in capsules or tablets. This is our Botanical Hall of Fame, and each one of these has a monograph on our website if you go to the supplementary information page. But we'll briefly discuss a couple on this list. First is Echinacea. It's used to boost the immune system in its defenses against infection, especially to prevent or even shorten the duration of cold and flu. Golden seal has similar abilities, but it's the root that is medicinal. So watch what you're buying in the store. Sometimes it says herb or leaf, and it's just not as effective as the root for golden seal. German chamomile, again, different from English chamomile. It's used both for external and internal uses and can be soothing, sedating, and anti-inflammatory. It could be used to reduce indigestion, bloating, flatulence, also skin irritation, dermatitis, sometimes used in wound treatments and inflammation of the mucous membranes. Ginseng, it can be Asian, American, or Siberian, and although the properties of these are not identical, all three traditionally are used to improve well-being and relieve stress. Green tea is used to reduce the risk of atherosclerosis and the prevention of certain cancers because it has antioxidant properties that kind of counteract the reactive oxygen molecules that produce free radicals, which are responsible for many signs of aging and degeneration. There's peppermint. Its internal uses come from the leaves of the peppermint plant, and its external uses come from the peppermint oil. It could also be used as a digestive aid, while newer studies suggest that the external peppermint oil could be used to relieve headaches. Valerian has a long history as a sedative for conditions related to sleep disorders and even mild anxiety. And finally, the root of the ashwagandha plant is an adaptogen used to counteract negative effects of stress. Some studies found that it had significant anti-anxiolytic properties that worked on the GABA receptors. So if you remember from our last lesson, the GABA receptors are one of those calming neurotransmitters, and therefore it could be very effective for insomnia. The word phyto means plant, and therapy means to treat, usually to remedy a health problem following a diagnosis. Therefore, phytotherapy is the specific and intentional use of plants as medicine. It is different from traditional pharmaceuticals because it aims to preserve the complexity of the substance from a given plant with relatively less processing. Not to pick on the pharmaceutical companies, but I will use this as a way of explaining the difference between a pharmaceutical drug and a phytotherapy remedy. Each herb and plant used in phytotherapy have active ingredients, chemicals or constituents that have an effect on the body. For example, hypericin and hyperformin are considered to be the active ingredients in the herb St. John's wort. Although the benefits of St. John's wort are not just the result of these two chemicals, but of the synergistic interaction between the two chemicals and a host of other naturally occurring chemicals found in the herb. In contrast, pharmaceutical companies often isolate that active chemical ingredient from an herb and produce a synthetic replication of the chemical and place it into a drug. The end result of this process is a very powerful drug with many side effects, but without the benefits of the synergistic interaction of the herb's original ingredients. Phytotherapy is a functional approach to healing. This means that it works with the body. The bioactive molecules in plants share features with human hormones, so they aid in promoting or countering actions similar to the hormones in a patient's body system. Another principal key is the adaptogenic effect, in which the body responds to and uses plant molecules in various ways, depending on how much and in what proportion is needed. This is important because when you use phytotherapy, the body regulates how much of those chemical constituents are actually used. The rest is just metabolized out. This is in stark contrast to pharmaceutical interventions because they often provide too much or maybe too little of the hormone or medication, and the result is side effects. Just because phytotherapy uses plants, which seem innocent and natural, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're safe in every circumstance. Some herbal products can change the absorption rate, distribution, metabolism, and excretion, and can thus change the blood levels of certain pharmaceutical drugs. This is why it's very important that if you're taking prescription medications to know about the potential herb-drug reactions. For example, milk thistle is a liver tonic, so it's expected to enhance the function of the liver. It upregulates the action of P450 enzyme, thus breaking down drugs more efficiently and lowering the level of this drug in the blood. There can also be additive effects, such as taking ginkgo with Coumadin, both increasing bleeding times, or synergistic, where gynamum potentiates metformin, or antagonistic, such as the effects of guarana, which is a stimulant, with Xanax. The use of tea as a beverage and a medicine date back to 2700 BC. Next to water, tea is the most widely consumed beverage in the world. Tinctures are tea-like, in that the herb, other than green or black tea, is steeped in water to extract the healing properties. Regardless of the content of your tea or tincture, the act of drinking hot tea has a relaxing effect. The sensation of the warm mug in your hand, the soothing humidification of the steam in your face and respiratory system, and the internal warmth from drinking all work together with the therapeutic herb to ease your nerves and reduce your stress. Teas and tinctures, since they are not concentrated amounts and they incorporate the entire plant, not just the specific extracts, are considered safer than phytotherapy. They are also one of the most convenient and simplest ways to enjoy the benefits of a botanical. Flower essences are herbal infusions or decoctions made from the flowering part of the plant, which uniquely addresses emotional and mental aspects of wellness. The first 38 flower remedies were formulated by a British physician, Dr. Edward Bach, in the 1930s, although new remedies from other plant species are now available. The mother essence is made by an energetic imprint of the whole blossom into native water, embraced by a matrix of living forces found only in the peak of blossom, including the four elements: sun, water, earth, and air, and other environmental influences. Most of the more delicate flowers are prepared using the sun method. This involves floating the flower head in pure water for 3 hours in direct sunlight. Woodier plants, and those that bloom when the sun is weak, are generally prepared in the boiling method, where they boil the flowering parts of the plant for half an hour in pure water. In both cases, once heat has transferred the energy of the flower into the water, the energized water is mixed with equal amounts of brandy. This is called the mother tincture. Mother tincture is further diluted into brandy at a ratio of 2 drops of the mother tincture to 30 mL of brandy to make the stock bottles that you see in stores. This is Rhodiola rosea. It has been used in traditional folk medicine in China and Siberia. In Siberia, it is said that those who drink rhodiola tea regularly will live more than 100 years. It has a very low incidence of adverse effects, low interaction profile, most people tolerate it well, and it works to offset the negative effects of stress as well as build resilience to stress. It decreases fatigue, supports the nervous system, enhances energy, and elevates mood. It is both a tonic and an adaptogen. Because of its similar effects on the body, it could alter or potentiate the effects of beta blockers and other arrhythmics. Ashwagandha, also known as Indian ginseng, poison gooseberry, or winter cherry, is one of the most powerful herbs in Ayurvedic healing. It is a plump shrub with oval leaves and belongs to the same family as the tomato. It has been used since ancient times for a wide variety of conditions and is most well known for its restorative benefits. In Sanskrit, ashwagandha means the smell of a horse, indicating that the herb imparts the vigor and strength of a stallion, and has traditionally been prescribed to help people strengthen their immune system after an illness. It is an adaptogen, a rejuvenating tonic, and has anti-inflammatory, anti-anxiolytic properties, and is believed to increase serotonin levels. Since this is considered an immune stimulant, however, you should avoid it if you have an immune disorder, MS, lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, as it could potentiate the immune system. Also avoid if pregnant. The medicinal use of aromatic oils extends back to the ancient Egyptian and Chinese cultures, but the term aromatherapy was coined by René Marie Scatafase, a French chemist who experimented with essential oils for wound healing during World War II. Aromatherapy uses essential oils of aromatic plants to promote health and well-being. Essential oils, or aromatic essences, are highly concentrated substances that are extracted from various plant parts through a process of distillation or cold expression. Many are highly concentrated, potent, and volatile. Each EO has between 80 to 300 chemical constituents. It converts from liquid to a gas very readily at room temperature. Therapeutic grade essential oils are not perfumes, they're not candles, and they're not incense. How aroma affects the mind is not completely understood, although we do know that when you smell anything, information is sent to the specific areas of the brain that influence memory, learning, emotions, hormone balance, and even the basic survival mechanisms of fight or flight. When essential oil is inhaled, receptor sites between the olfactory epithelium receive the minute energy particle of the aroma and transmit it along nerve fibers of the olfactory bulb into relevant parts of the brain. This chemosensory information is then translated into psychological or behavioral effects. And finally, when this is compared to memory contents inside the brain, into a conscious olfactory experience. They can also activate the release of neurotransmitters such as serotonin, endorphins, norepinephrine, and modulate neuroreceptors that alter mood, reduce anxiety, and interrupt the stress response. Our sense of smell is also related to many daily functions such as alertness, relaxation, attention, performance, and these are all supported by different aromas. Since there is a tight relationship between our sense of smell and our emotional memories, everyone will have a different experience with each of these oils. And while aromatherapy produces different effects for different people, it can also affect you differently on different days. Essential oils can be applied in several ways. They can be added to carrier oils and applied to the skin. They can be added to bath salts or bath water. You can create room sprays, put them in diffusers for inhalation. But the most effective route for application for the decreasing of anxiety and the slowing of the overactive mind is inhalation. Use caution with asthmatics or people with allergic sensitivity, AFib, or tachycardia. It is important to note that once you become sensitive to an essential oil, you cannot use it anymore. It just potentiates from that point. In general, less is always more. 2 drops on a cotton ball is all that is needed. You may think that more is better, but the opposite is often true. My favorite example is when I took my first aromatherapy class, I was very excited to use lavender on my children. I thought I would diffuse the lavender in the hallway and all the children would sleep through the night peacefully. And lo and behold, 2 hours after I put them to bed, they were bouncing off the walls. So with children and babies, always dilute. Less is always better. And never apply it directly to your skin. Also avoid sensitive areas and open parts of the body. In your aromatherapy toolkit, you have a sample of therapeutic grade oil of lavender, lemon, and peppermint. Now, lavender has a sweet floral herbaceous scent that is calming and relaxing. It is associated with decreasing anxiety, improving mood, and increasing sedation. It blends well with bergamot, rose, and pine. Lemon is fresh, penetrating, purifying, and it acts as a mental stimulant. It is reviving. It blends well with lavender, eucalyptus, and pine. Peppermint is associated with increased arousal. It improves cognition and memory and enhances performance. It is clean, uplifting, penetrating, refreshing, and restorative. It blends well with lavender, lemon, and eucalyptus. You also have a recipe for a stress-busting cocktail, not for ingestion. This is a mini list of some of the prescriptive modes of aromatherapy. Lavender is associated with decreasing stress. It's very calming and relaxing. Rose is the smell for grief, for suffering, for comfort during loss. Sweet orange helps with cravings. It has just a wonderfully sweet aroma that sometimes will satisfy a sweet tooth. Lemon and peppermint, with their purifying, penetrating power, help with odors. Peppermint can help with nausea, especially in the tea form. And lemon and peppermint, again, with their reviving, energetic, kind of penetrating power, help with lethargy. Rose is a very special oil. It is intoxicating, sweet, and floral. It opens the heart and mind like no other essential oil and can be very soothing and uplifting in times of the deepest sorrow and loss. It's also a very expensive oil. It takes 60 rose petals for 1 drop of the essential oil. It blends well with lavender and neroli. I bring your attention to the Building Wellness website where you can review past lectures. You can look at the resource page for each of the lectures. This is the one for healing plants. You can see the herb monographs over here, some internet resources to read more about phytotherapy, about the flower essences, about aromatherapy, some safety guides and aromatherapy guides for you as well. If you have any questions, please post them on the blog. We can talk about how you're using your essential oils or your teas. Post any questions and I can give you supplemental information at that place. So thank you very much.